Hey everyone, this is Emmanuel, your certified emotion code, body code practitioner here, working at Compass Healing Center with my wife, Jess Cevallos. And I want to do a live video today. Actually, I did an email session for an old friend of mine. It was kind of interesting. About a week ago, I just randomly had a dream about him, and I don't know why. I don't know, like him and I haven't talked in a while. And anyway, I just reached out to him, and he told me that he was having shoulder pain, and it was in a sling, and it was very painful. It was around a 7, and obviously it hinders him from his work, and probably doing work proficiently. And so I decided I wanted to see if I can help him out and do a quick email session. Now, here's the interesting thing: is that um, for those of you who are kind of new to the emotion code, body code, let me just explain to you kind of how this works. First of all, hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I just want to make sure sometimes my microphone cuts off. You can comment below and let me know if you guys can hear me. So anyway, what happened was is that I decided to tell him that what I do and kind of how I help people and how I can help out his pain. And he told me that he's going to be at work probably whenever he works a lot. So he says, just go ahead and work on me, and I can do that. Works is that Dr. Bradley Nelson, who is the founder of this work and his Discover Healing team, what they did is after 20 years of working a brick and mortar business, as he would call it, he found out that he can only help out his clients so much. And so he used to always ask for help from above. People call it universe, people call it God. He would always ask for help to see what he can do to help out these clients. And obviously, a chiropractor can only go so far, especially with very serious illnesses and serious ailments. And so he started asking for help to see what can I do with these clients. That's how the whole thing was born. Emotion code and body code was based on a prayer to help out clients who were dealing with chronic illnesses. And what happened was nothing short than miraculous is he started getting these downloads of how the body really works and how our body produces these emotional energies. So, for example, the liver produces anger, bitterness, guilt, hatred, resentment. And there are these little spheres of energy the size of a tennis ball or cantaloupe. And they're supposed to process through our body. That's why whenever you feel angry or you feel really sad, if you notice, there's kind of like a clock. It's almost like the pipes turn off to cry anymore, and you're wondering, is it because I have no water inside my ears and my tear ducts, or my tear ducts dry now? Or it could be the fact that this energy has fully processed through your skin, and now you're over it, as you say, quote unquote, over it. There is uh, some real truth in that idea of I'm over it. Is that really what that means? Is that the sphere of energy has finally left the body, and now you're able to not be so reactive. The problem is that these energies can get stuck in the body and not processed properly, and so those are called trapped emotions. Here are the three symptoms of trapped emotions. Number one is it could cause of the tissues. And so, even though we can't see these energies, technically we are all energy. If we were to look at the brass tacks of what we really are, we're just all energy, right? And so, just basically zinging around these little energies, and even a lot of our bodies are just mainly empty space. Really, it feels solid, but it's actually empty space. And what's interesting is that these energies can get stuck and irritate the tissues. If you can think about it, these little balls of energy are not supposed to be in there, and they're kind of warping the inside of the body, which then can actually physically irritate the tissues. And so that's number one. And people can cause pain, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, which a lot of those symptoms could be trapped emotions in the body. Also, it can cause multiple physical symptoms like nausea, headaches, fatigue, many different things like that. Also, emotional symptoms like depression, anxiety, triggers, bipolar. I mean, a lot of the things that you're dealing with is probably stemming from these trapped emotions. And lastly, what it does is it creates can make you very reactive. And so I wanted to see what was going on, and so I'll show you kind of. He gave me permission to do this, so to do this live, and I already did his session, so it's going to be a lot faster. But I'll tell you what I found here, and I'll just kind of go through the notes. Okay, so He wanted me to work on his knees, but I didn't have enough time to do it because his body only allowed me to work on his shoulders. Because technically, the average 10 to 12, sometimes 15 energies. Sometimes if you're already still having someone else work on you and maybe you work the next day, you can only release about 6 or 7. The body can only process so much. In this case, I think we did around 16 to 17 energies, which is kind of past the normal average. And so what's going to go on here is I worked on his right shoulder. So here's some of the things that I found here. So if you guys could look on the screen here, I found this is the body code right here. And so you're wondering probably, how do I work on him and he's not even here? Well, it's called an email session, and the exact term of it is working on someone um, proxy, so via proxy. And proxy just means on behalf of someone. So if Danny was here in my office, I would say, put out your arm, let me his wrist, and I would muscle test him. Or the little fancy word for it is applied kinesiology. And yeah, I would just push on his arm and very lightly just ask him questions. Say, is your name Dano or Danny? And his arm would say yes. Is your name Bob? And his arm would go down. So his body's a detector test, right? He would tell me his age. I'm 41 years old. His arm would be strong. I said, go ahead and say you're 20 years old. His arm would go weak. So the body, those liars out there, you're probably walking around with lots of fatigue everywhere. But the interesting thing is that I can ask right shoulder pain more than normal. Like, because obviously I don't know if he had an accident or what happened to him. He didn't even really go into it. But the point is, it's in a sling. And I asked, are there any energies that are causing this pain? His arm would be strong if he was here in person. But because this is long distance, I would use my fingers. So you can do this thing called self muscle testing, and I was just using my fingers, and in that way I can also connect with him. And then instead of putting a magnet on his back and releasing these energies, I would just use it on myself. So I could do it over my head, I can do it around my ear, I can use my middle finger. There's different ways to release I can use it with my intention. There's so many different ways I can remove this as if he were here in person. So this is how it's all working, and that's how I usually work with clients in different parts of the world. And so let me just show you guys real quick what I found here. So the first thing that came up was a common emotional compound. So that's over here real quick. So we'll go here. And it is this, right? So common emotional compound is when you feel two emotions at the same time and it gets stuck in a sphere, like a ball of energy, right? I mean, many of us, how many we felt two emotions at the same time? It's pretty common, or sometimes even it's even three at the same time. And what happens is, many of you may not know this, but it was discovered on September 11th, and Dr. Brad found some of these on people who were a part of. Well, it actually wasn't discovered exactly on September 11th, but he found it on, I believe, a client who participated or was a part of that September 11th tragedy, and he was just wondering. He's like, "Whoa, this isn't a simple one, huh? What is this?" That's how that was found. And anyway, Danny did. And basically, it was bitterness and helplessness at 23. Now, I didn't have to put the age here. I did for a few of them, just so that he may remember what this is about. And his body is keeping perfect track on what emotions were stuck at exactly what time. So, what came up was bitterness and helplessness at 23. Again, I don't know anything about his past, but maybe he can go through this list and find out what this is all about. This one here. The next one I found out is a physical trauma energy. So that's over here. So this could mean like an accident, or he got hurt, or he got injured. I didn't really check the age on that one. I could, but we didn't have to. So I just removed that one there. Also, he had this thing called the current symptom energy of pain. So this one, let me see if I can find it here. Where is it? Oh, it's over here. These are really interesting. So if you see this guy here, and he's in his little coat and his little, looks like he's sick. What happens here is when you're dealing with some type of pain or nausea for a very long time, it's like your body creates like a stunt double of it, and kind of makes it hard for you to kind of move forward. If you notice here, some of the common ones that are reverberating are nausea, pain, and sickness. So I just asked, is it nausea? No. Is it pain? So what's pain? So you probably has had a lot of pain in that area. So then his body just created this sort of stunt double next to it. Now this stunt double is working 24/7, causes issues for him to move on. Another thing that I found too is also a preconception trapped emotion of overwhelmed. So that is over here. Many of you guys, this is really an amazing concept. Kind of almost proves there is a God just using this. And actually, let me go ahead and charge my computer quick. Hold on one second. Okay, that was a close one. Okay, so preconception trapped emotion. All this means is that you can actually create trapped emotions or other energies before you were born. So this is really interesting. It says here prior to conception, but are not inherited from an ancestor. They're very rare. It's a ball of vibrating energy about the size of your clenched fist, and they can lodge anywhere in your body, where they can exert a distorting force on the energy field, which can lead to all kinds of physical and emotional issues. He had one of these, and this is overwhelmed. Again, I don't know if it's easy for him to feel overwhelmed, but this was stuck in that area too. You might wonder, but what if he got into an accident 2 years ago or a year ago? It doesn't make any sense that there's something in the spirit body before he was born to all of a sudden accentuate his pain. But actually, Dr. Brad said that anything can cause anything, and sometimes any type of energy will just kind of swim towards this party of pain. So this is just one of them, right? So what's kind of cool is like we're going to be working on pain, but we're also working on his emotional state as well. So I'm curious to see how he feels emotionally after this as well. Again, I haven't heard his response yet. I'm kind of waiting for him, but and I'll let you guys know. I'll probably tagged him on there so that way he can kind of comment below on how he's doing. Okay, there's a current symptom. Okay, here we are. Okay, shared trapped emotion. So this is a shared one. Let me see where this is here. Okay, so a shared trapped emotion. If you look at a boy and a girl here, but it really could be a man and another man or a female and another female. All it means is two people are feeling the same emotion at the same time. For whatever reason, I didn't ask if this was his girlfriend or his current wife, but basically at 33, he felt something with another female. And it was like discouragement, someone or something letting you down, right? So now it doesn't mean that it was towards each other. They could have been discouraged about a situation. That was around 33. So I removed that. And whoever that person was also gets a healing too. So again, it could be his current partner right now. She would get a healing. That's the kind of cool thing about shared trapped emotions, is that there could actually even be multiple people involved. I've worked with someone who went to a funeral, and a lot of people were feeling grief and something else, and it was a shared one, and so it was like 6 or 7 people or 8 people. They all felt that energy. So when I do a clearing for one person, it actually helps all 7 others that were there too, which is kind of neat. The next thing that came up was a physical disconnection here. Okay, so um, this is really interesting too. It has to do with two things are not communicating, right? So if you look over here, it says physical disconnection. You see like two bones with kind of like these little gears. It means these two things are not talking. Okay, so all parts of the body are communicating. They've done a lot of studies that obviously the brain has to communicate with different parts of the body. That's kind of like a known fact, right? But the Heart Math Institute also talks about how the heart communicates with different parts of the brain. I'm sorry, different parts of the body as well. If you have this thing called the heart wall, if you don't know what that is, I would just YouTube heart wall 15 minutes, and you'll find a video of me talking about it. And basically, if you have these walls in front of your heart, that's why people are breaking down, because the heart's not communicating to the body proficiently. So now with the physical disconnection, as you can see here, that means two parts of his body are not talking. So every part of your body is kind of talking to each other. Like the ileocecal valve is talking to your colon, and maybe your ileocecal valve is also talking to your small intestines. If they're not communicating at 100%, that can cause some issues. Okay, so I had no idea. So when I clicked on this, I have to go find it. I'm like, I have no idea what's not talking to what. So I went in here, And the first thing that came up was a ligament. Okay, so right here, you see this? So ligament says that, so some ligament is not talking to something, right? And these are the ones that obviously they connect. They're the tissues that connect bones to each other. Okay. Now I was like, okay, ligament and what? And so it went in here, circuits and systems, system area, skeletal, skeleton, appendicular, upper limbs. I'm just going to where I what I found. What I found was the humerus bone. Okay, so the humerus bone and this ligament, and then they were only at 22% connection. Okay, so here's what I found. The first thing I found was recovery interference energy. You guys see this little stop sign here? That means that there's inflammation energy stuck there. Okay, and so then I worked on that. There was a will to suffer at age 40. So I don't know if he was still dealing with physical issues back then. It could be 41, or maybe he was dealing with something. This was around age 40. Those will twos are over here. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah. A will to energy, you see this person kind of like standing on the ledge there, is when you're going through a period of stress and you're willing to do something during those periods of stress. Okay, so he had one of these there. There's a will to suffer. And that also could cause problems too, because then later on it might be this like you're prone to, like you have these tendencies too. Also, around 34, he received an absorbed trapped emotion. That's over here. Yeah, you see this little sponge here. So he absorbed something from somebody. Somebody was emotional around him around 34. So I released that one. Also, there was a physical trauma, which is over here. This is again another accident or stretch wrong or things like that or car accident. Anyway, we fixed that too. The next thing that came up that was really interesting was there was a T1 imbalance. Okay, so T1 is part of the spine. So I was checking the system area. I think I went to the skeleton. I think it was here. Yep. So what's interesting is like I have no idea. So I'm just muscle testing. I'm just asking his body, where do I go from here? And it said, I believe it was this one, the thoracic vertebrae. And I'm like, okay, so what are we doing here? And it said the T1's off. And this is really interesting. This is just a part of his spine. Look what it says. Arms from the elbows down can cause issues with wrists and fingers, esophagus, trachea, heart area. But yeah, definitely his arms are in there. Also pain in the lower arms and hands. That's also in there too. So that was a little bit off. And what did I find there? At age 20, there was a physical trauma, which means a little period of sorry, physical emotional shock. I need to change that. Oh, wait, no, I got it. No, physical emotional shock, which is a period of stress at age 20. So there's that. Physical emotional shock could be two things: either a period of stress, or it could be something happened that kind of shocked you, like whoa, didn't expect that to happen. Also, there was a kind of a ringing energy of bitterness, kind of like maybe not upset about something. You see this little bell here. Let me see if I can give you guys a bigger picture here. So this is really interesting. It's called emotional reverberation. This one is kind of like if you have a very emotional moment and the moment's gone now. So picture the bell being gone. There's just kind of this ringing energy going on. That was at 37, kind of like not happy about something, kind of bitter about a situation. Anyway, so then the T1 was then balanced again. I fixed that bone there. The next thing that came up was a brachial artery issue. So this has to do with circulation. So something was off with the circulation here. So it was upper limb vessel, and it was this artery here, this brachial artery, if you guys can see that. Something was off here. I'm trying to remember what it was. I'm looking at the notes here. Okay, there was a physical emotional shock. So that's a period of stress at age 13. Yeah, so that's over here. Hmm. Yeah. So physical, emotional shock, again, that little period of stress here, that was age 13. He also had a recovery interference energy, some inflammation there. And then that's kind of where we reset his brachial artery. When I say reset, it just means it's like almost making it brand new again. So anyway, so that's pretty much it. That's his session. So we'll see how he's doing today. Perhaps he'll comment below. Again, he wasn't participating in this. He just gave me the permission to do it. He he's getting it while he's at work. It's very convenient for the very busy person here to just say, hey, work on me and do this. I remember this lady, I think it was like a couple of days ago, she forgot that about the appointment. So she's like, I'm at some amusement park. Can you just work on me? And I worked on her loneliness and worked on her. And she said that, like, she always had these symptoms of, like, even though she's with people, she could even feel alone. Is that possible? And so I worked on her, and literally 80 to 90% quieter, that feeling of loneliness. And I was doing a session on her, and she wasn't even participating. So yeah, it's very powerful. This works. And some people may say, oh, well, that's some type of placebo effect, right? Well, placebo is actually not a bad thing. Placebo, absolutely. If your own brain can help itself out, that's I don't think you really care if it is placebo, but it's not placebo in many ways too, because obviously I work with dogs and cats, so there's no talking there to the dog or cat. And it's also works really good with children, with babies who are 2 years old. Again, I'm not talking to the baby, and all of a sudden they don't have food aversions, or they can sleep, cry as much, or whatever. Again, so this is real, truly energy healing, removing things from the body. And again, sometimes it's kind of interesting when, let's say, you find something in. I worked on a client once, and I removed something that's inherited. And inherited means that it came from generational trauma. So, like, their great 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 grandmother. And it's really interesting. Sometimes I'll work on a client's daughter, and then what'll happen is the next day I'll meet with her mother for like an intro session, and the p.m. she was like totally exhausted, just like all of a sudden just this like heaviness came over her, and she's like, whoa, I feel really tired. And then later on I told her, I said, your daughter gave me permission to tell you this, that we removed an inherited emotion, and it came through your line. It wasn't from you specifically, but it came in through your line. And so sometimes that could happen where the inherited, the people that are in that line can get affected right away out of nowhere. And I had to like pull over in my car, and I never pull over just to take a nap. Like, it was crazy. And then later on, she said that her daughter reminded her and said, "Oh, by the way, I had a session this earlier today. Remember, yours is tomorrow." And she's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that mine's tomorrow." Again, no placebo effect there. She just happened to feel the energy that was released from the daughter, um, and because she was in the line, she got a healing too. It's kind of a beautiful thing that you get to heal the family when you remove inherited emotions. So hopefully you appreciated just kind of me working on my friend here. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Again, this is the body code system, so it goes way. It goes to abundance. Like, if you're like, I want to multiply my income, or if I want to add more clients to my business, or it can also go to relationship. You want your soulmate, or do you want to get along with your partner more, or do you want to get along with a daughter more? It goes into psychic abilities, higher intuition, learn. I mean, you name it. It's like, it's literally the limitless pill. Like, you can attract way faster, combining, like it makes the law of attraction look slow. If you just match the right energy to your goal, you can attract anything. I've helped people attract their dream job, attract their future husband. I mean, it's really amazing how these energies that are invisible are holding you back from your true self. So, with that, everyone have a great Friday. Hopefully, everyone enjoys their weekend. I may also do. I'm planning on doing a live on this abundance session I did on myself, because right now our practice is doing a abundance guide, a new program called the Abundance Guide. So it's to help you really remove all money blocks that you have. And I did a session on myself this morning just to kind of help myself out. So I may be vulnerable and tune you guys into that one. So with that, thank you guys for tuning in, and look forward to doing another healing soon. Take care.